Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Gauri Ganesha सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे मन मंदिर उज्जवल करो, कृपा किया जननी मां साई जननी मां मेरी भी सुन ले अरज मुझे डर बुलाता है भगवान है कहाँ रे तू है खुदा है कहाँ रे तू है सुना तू भटके मन को राह दिखाता है मैं भी खोया हूँ मुझे घर बुलाता है भगवान है कहाँ रे तू है खुदा है कहाँ रे तू तुझे ढूंढे थके मेरे नैन जो भी रस्में हैं वो सारी मैं निभाता हूँ जिन करोड़ों की तरह मैं सर झुकाता हूँ भगवान है कहाँ रे है कहाँ रे तू चाहे मैं समझा नहीं सोचे बिन समझे जतन करता ही जाता हूँ तेरी जिद सर आँखों पर रख के निभाता हूँ भगवान है कहाँ रे तू है कहाँ रे तू है सुना ये पूरी धरती तू चलाता है मेरी भी सुन ले अरज मुझे घर बुलाता है भगवान है कहाँ रे तू है खुदा है कहाँ रे तू भगवान है कहाँ रे तू है खुदा है कहाँ रे तू
Same page.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba on behalf of the Greater Manchester Science Centre. Warm welcome to all of you. What a beautiful opening prayers we had by the SSC children and a couple of parents participated in that. The Science Centre of Greater Manchester, Science Centre of Warrington, and we had one representative from Leeds. And the children, I think it just does us justice to the children who worked so hard. They were from Warrington Science Centre, there were Shanti, Isha, Roma, Ishani. From Manchester we had Ashish, Achintya, Vishal, Tamira, Priya, Roma. And from Leeds we had Amish. Well done, SSC children. Satya Sai Baba is referred to as Lord, Baba, Swami, Sai and Bhagwan. So this is the 4th anniversary of our Lord Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba when he left his physical form. We remind ourselves of his life spent in transforming us through his selfless love and compassion. His teachings and practice of human values has drawn people from different cultures, faiths, languages, and race to him. This year's theme, as quite a few of you will know, and our flyer says, you need offer only 2 things, pure love and selfless service. Baba says, God is love, live in love, and tells us, start the day with love. Fill the day with love. Spend the day with love. And the day with love. This is the way to God. Lord Jesus Christ, when asked what is the greatest commandment, said, the greatest and the first commandment is, love thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Baba says, love is the source, love is the path, and love is the goal. So when we live our lives saturated with this love, our lives get sanctified. If one could master this single divine principle, the other 4 human values, truth, righteousness, and peace and non-violence, would also automatically be mastered. Selfless service is the most efficient and universal way to understand, experience, and express love. Service is love in action. Baba says the best way to love God is to love all, serve all. Selfless service, which is seva, can be identified by 2 basic characteristics: compassion and willingness to sacrifice. Baba says service does not mean helping with hands alone. Talk softly, sweetly, and speak good words. The goal of selfless service, seva, is also to bring about our own spiritual transformation. Today, we have eminent speakers here sharing their spiritual journeys with us. When we listen to them, we are reminded of the 3 R's. I know we are in a school, okay, and it is not reading, writing, arithmetic. The 3 R's are revisiting the Lord's teachings, reminding ourselves, and reflecting in our own time. Enjoy the day and take away some gems with you. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Vasanti Vaja, for that wonderful sharing. I would now like to invite our first guest speaker for today, Dr. Satya Vishwanath. Dr. Satya Vishwanath is a consultant psychiatrist at Rotherham. He has been blessed to complete his entire education under Swami's direct guidance at his school in Puttaparthi. After that, he came to Osmania to complete his specialist medical training, and he has now been living in the UK ever since. Please put your hands together for Dr. Satya Vishwanath.
Saram to one and all. Offering my very humble and loving pranams and salutations of the lotus feet of our Lord, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, and a special loving Saram to the little children who are here, who performed this morning, and I'm sure who are going to be doing more this afternoon too. First of all, we would obviously like to thank you for this opportunity that the Greater Manchester Service Center and Dr. Vijayanand has given on me to help share my experiences with you all. I know we're here for the Mahasamadhi Day celebrations, and as Mrs. Vaja rightly mentioned, I feel it's a time for us to share our experiences that we have had with Swami, and to more importantly to reiterate and to look at his message and to see how much of it we are actually following, which I'm sure we are, and how much more we can improve on, as there's always room and scope for improvement in imbibing and putting those messages to practice. As I was approached, as I had some initial discussions with Dr. Vijayanand, I was thinking, what am I to share here? What am I to share with this forum today? And I felt, let me go back to my childhood days. The days of the 1980s, where we were so fortunate to be the first batch of students to have joined Swami's school, which started in 1981. And I did my 12 years of my schooling from the first standard of what would be year 1 to my A levels or the AS levels, before moving on to having to pursue my medical studies. And I particularly cherish the primary school years, and I'll tell you why in a short while, in the next few minutes. What strikes me is, as Mrs. Vaja was mentioning, Swami's love and the selflessness, which he gave us in so much abundance in those years, and obviously as the years rolled by too. What I would like to take you back down my memory lane to the 1980s. I don't know how many of you, I'm sure many of you would have been to Parthi, and you'd remember what I would like to refer to as the poetic Prashanti Nilayam, with the sands, with the trees, with the chirping birds, with the warm or sometimes even hot sunshine. And that used to be the playground for where Swami used to teach us many of our lessons which we learned. But more importantly, when the school started, Swami took so much attention and spent so much time, so much so as he used to come and visit the school every day. And there used to be occasions when he used to visit the school thrice in a day, and he used to interact with us, the children who were there, and importantly with the teachers. I still remember Swami used to come in his Fiat car, and which used to be parked, and we all used to come running from the playground, and Swami used to say, go, play, and we all used to go away. And just get on with whatever play we were involved in. Swami used to come into our classes. In year 1, what stands out is Swami coming and writing the Telugu alphabets on the blackboard, and then asking our teacher Vimla Madam to bring some lentils, and making us do the same alphabets on the floor. And then as Swami walked past looking at how we did alphabets, his robe would obviously go past the pulses, and they would move, and then Swami would, while coming back, he would say, why is that moved? why is that not right? And he obviously smiled. He knew that it was his role which did that. And it's just the amount of detail Swami used to go to, which Swami has done and Swami continues to do in every activity of his and what is related to him. Swami used to sit in the classroom. I remember Swami sitting through 2 periods. So Swami came in, sat for an entire hour. I can only imagine the teachers, how they taught us. I can't remember what was taught. I mean, we were in our, I think, second or third standard. But I remember Swami sitting, observing what we were doing. And at the end of the lesson, Swami turned around to us and asked us, what have you learned? Can you tell me what you've learned in this last hour? And then Swami would ask the teacher, what were you wanting to teach and what have you taught? And then Swami used to make observations on, obviously, on us, on the students who were there. One incident which comes to my mind is, there was one of our seniors, as a year above us, who used to have this habit of blinking continuously. He had this sort of the twitching movement of his eyes. And Swami observed it. Swami didn't comment anything. Swami didn't mention anything on that occasion. And Swami came back. Obviously, he used to visit us so frequently. Swami came back on another occasion. He asked the boy a few questions. And then he asked him, where are you from? And we were all sort of taught to say, Swami, we have come from you. So that's what the boy replied. And Swami asked him again. And there were other elders there, Colonel Jogarao Garu and one other elder. And then Swami turned to them and said, look, see even how profound his answer is. And then Swami went on to, having given him all the encouragement, then Swami said, I've noticed that you're blinking your eyes a lot. Do you realize that? And then Swami gave him advice on how to reduce it. And it was not just the classrooms, this extended into our dining hall as well. We used to have a dining hall where there were mats spread out and we used to sit, to have our meals. And there used to be path in between the mats for people to come and serve us, our teachers to come and serve us. Swami used to walk down and Swami used to ask, what have you had? How does it taste? Swami used to taste himself. And there were a few occasions when Swami used to go and serve, and obviously, us being children, we used to say, Swami, I haven't had enough, I want one more, vada, I want one more. And Swami used to go and bring and Swami used to serve it, on a few occasions. And discussing about, and just, that's again going to how much care and attention, he was so particular that he realized that our parents had left us and he had started this new school, so he wanted to make sure that everything was as perfect as he would have wanted it to be. And I remember one particular occasion, I think it was 1983-84, Swami used to obviously come unannounced to the school as well, to the school. So he walked into our assembly and he asked us, what have you had? So we said, Swami, idli, sambar, and we used to be given porridge and we used to be given green grams, sprouted green grams, which, to be honest, we didn't like. So Swami realized, I suppose, Swami came, Swami asked, and we just told him what we had. And then Swami asked our, whom used to call kitchen auntie, Mrs. Indra, saying, could you come and, could you bring me some, the green grams, please? So auntie went and auntie brought it. And then Swami had a spoonful and he was making all sorts of faces, And we were like, oh God, that's it, Swami has heard our prayers, And then he, obviously he had it. And then he asked kitchen auntie, how much do you serve of this? So she showed a spoon, the ladle, and she said, Swami, I serve this one spoonful and also, is that it? You should give 2 spoonfuls from next time. And we were like, oh God, Swami, no, Swami, you couldn't do that to us. And then Swami turned around and said, what strikes me, obviously all these years, having rolled by, and obviously, which I've reflected on as well, Swami turned around and said, there are such things, obviously he was talking about food, about the nutritious food, which it won't be palatable, but you need to have it. And to that he used to add, the spiritual meaning of it is to say, there'll be occasions in life where you come across unpalatable experiences, but that is to ennoble you. And one other particular incident, which strikes me, which comes back is to my, the college used to be just opposite, bang opposite the school. Whenever Swami used to visit the college, obviously, again for looking at the working, the functionings of the college, we used to pray very fervently to Swami. It used to be a Sunday. So we used to spend, on this occasion, we spent about 3 hours doing bhajans and praying that Swami visits us, from the college into the primary school. And Swami didn't come, so we were all very disappointed, and we just got back to what routine we were doing. And then the following week, suddenly our auntie hears honks at the gate, because the gates are shut. So and then we find that Swami has come to the school, and Swami remarks, "It's not about the gates being shut. When your hearts are open, God will come." And it was such what would seem some of them seem very, very mundane and everyday occurrences, but Swami made it a point to give us this, to give us a more broader and more deeper meaning into such incidents. And while we were at the school, there were 3 of our teachers who got married, and Swami obviously performed the marriages. Swami created Mangal Sutras, and we witnessed, I think, 2 of them. And one such, and for one of the weddings, the teacher, she walked around the sacred fire, and she walked first. So Swami said, "Look, we know now who's the boss already, amongst them." Obviously, it was quickly corrected, and then Swami asked us, I think we were about year 5 then, I think year 5, 85. Swami asked, "Do you know what wife means?" And we all knew, because Swami had told before, "This is Swami Vari invited for forever." And then we all chuckled and laughed, and then Swami let the moment pause, and Swami said, "No, it's wisdom invited forever." So, thereby instilling that importance of women, importance of their respect, and obviously looking at how we can make the most of a relationship. Obviously, we were very young; we wouldn't have even understood what But looking back, you make the most of these experiences. And I'm just trying to think, because there are so many of those experiences which we have had. And what strikes me is, the perfection that Swami put into every activity, every task that he has done. And I'm sure many of us would have had so many more experiences to share, and all the projects he did, and how he himself put what he taught into practice. Because if you look at, to achieve that level of perfection, you need such a discipline. I know we could all argue that Swami, we believe Swami is divine. He has the Vajra Sankalpa. He wills it and it happens. But that wasn't the case. He made it a point to pick up a project, to pick up any work for that matter, to lay down plans, to see it through, to follow it day in and day out, and to make sure, and at various stages he would leave it. Once it has reached a stage, he would leave it to others whom he felt were capable of carrying it through. And looking back at Swami's teachings, you see what Swami stresses on, the Trikarna Shuddhi, the integrity of thought, word and deed, the 3 P's of purity, patience and perseverance. And all this come into place when you have to focus to achieve that level of perfection. One's ability to control one's desires, being aware of our senses, being aware of our mind, our intellect, our Atma, and all this happening every moment. So it's not for a particular class, it's not for a particular occasion, it's for every moment of our lives, being able to live that perfection every moment, which is not at all easy, but that's something which Swami would have wanted us to strive and aspire for. And later on, as we progressed, there was one occasion where Swami asked one of my seniors, "Do you know why I love you all so much?" And he was referring to all of us. And then Swami himself said, "Do you think it's because of your physical beauty? Do you think it's because you have devotion? Do you think it's because of your wealth?" And then he answered those questions, and then he went on to say, "No, it's only for love's sake. So you love for love's sake alone, and for nothing else." what I feel looking at the aspect of reflecting on all of this and looking at the selflessness, Swami's selflessness was reflected in so many ways to us. In the way he stooped down to serve us, only to help us raise our levels of awareness and our levels of consciousness. The way he was so particular about the cleanliness, which I can give you so many examples of, again, going back to the theme of perfection. The way he was so particular about, he used to come into the kitchen and look at the food we used to have. He was so particular about us, all of us having, healthy bodies, so that we could have healthy minds, and thereof, seek our spiritual progress. And there was the sternness which you saw in the video, which made us, which in turn made us reflect, and which made us introspect. I would like to conclude with one small incident, which I think is very relevant for today, and that is when we were in year 5. Swami's visits had reduced when compared to the year 1, year 2, and there was on one occasion, but however Swami used to go. There was the university block being built on the hilltop, and Swami used to visit there regularly on a daily basis. And Swami one day came to a primary school, and this, one of our friends, one of the classmates, he got up and told Swami, this is not fair, coming to a school regularly. Swami said, and Swami used to come every fortnightly, and then Swami said, no, I do. He said, no, Swami, but. And no, I think Swami said, I think I'm busy. He said, Swami, we have seen you every day. You go to the hilltop there, and it's only not far away. You can always drop down to the school on your way back. And then Swami said, no, I do come. I'm here all the time. And the boy was a bit perplexed. And then Swami paused, and Swami touched his chest, and Swami said, I'm here. I'm in your heart, and it's for you to, it's for us to open up and to realize that Swami is with us day in and day out, and guiding us. I would like to once again thank you all for this opportunity, to allow me to share this experiences with you all. And Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vishwanath, for sharing your thoughts with us. Next up, we have Brother Sanjay from the Greater Manchester Sai Centre to share his love for Swami with us through the recital of poetry. Bhagwan constantly reminds us that there are several ways in which we can express our love for him. Some of us love to sing bhajans, some of us engage in chanting the divine name. Brother Sanjay has been writing poems for Swami since 2009. He has been in the Sai fold since the early 1990s. He's been the regional youth coordinator in 2000 and then served as regional chair between 2002 and 2006. He also served as both regional and spiritual coordinators at the Sai Centre in Greater Manchester. He's a very active member of the region and is fondly remembered by our youth. Please welcome Brother Sanjay Vaja.
Okay, perfect. Am I in front of the speaker? Do you need me to move a bit? Okay, it follows on quite nicely. Thank you very much for leading into this, actually. So, a poem I wrote for the programme today. It's called Our Dearest Sai. As we sit in Sandbach on this Mahasamadhi day, some people are happy, people are sad, and I don't know what to say. His form has now gone, so what should we do? I asked Sai this question, he gave me a pointer or two. Prema Swarupa, embodiments of love, see me everywhere, around and above. Be still, close your eyes, be aware of your breathing. Whilst thinking of me, see any negativity leaving. Focus on your heart, and you'll feel me inside. I'll always be there, I've no reason to hide. See me in everyone, watch for that soft fuzzy feeling, and remember for your desires, you really need a ceiling. It's good to have fun and to keep things light. Remember your core, let your heart shine bright. It's okay to dress well, okay to look cool, and for all of you children, you must study hard at school. One thing is for sure, there's no need to be sad. Quieten your mind, or it will surely drive you mad. Watch your words, actions and thoughts, learn to discriminate. Make a start today, it's not too late. Learn to see me in all, whether doctors or dear. Remember I'm with you, leave no room for any fear. When you love all and serve all, our bond will strengthen, I assure. I've not gone away, I'm with you even more. Remember these words, be always happy, my child. Remain centered on me, don't let your thoughts run wild. But even when they do, know that it's fine, it's okay, and my love for you grows stronger with each passing day. Life is a journey, you're all here to learn. I'm always here for you, whenever inwards you turn. That breeze on your cheek, that beautiful butterfly, that smile from a stranger, remember your friend's sigh. I don't need to say more, I think you all understand. I'm waiting here patiently for you to just take my hand. I live in your heart, turn to me often, let's talk, and through this journey of life, side by side we will walk. So I'm going to read it again, and don't look at me, look at the screens this time. So, So as we sit in Sandbach on this Mahasamadhi day, people are happy, people are sad, and I don't know what to say. His form has now gone, so what should we do? I asked Sai this question, he gave me a pointer or two. Prema Swarupa, embodiments of love, see me everywhere, around and above. Be still, close your eyes, be aware of your breathing. Whilst thinking of me, see any negativity leaving. Focus on your heart, and you'll feel me inside. I'll always be there, I've no reason to hide. See me in everyone, watch for that soft fuzzy feeling, and remember for your desires, you really need a ceiling. It's good to have fun, and to keep things light. Remember your core, let your heart shine bright. It's okay to dress well, okay to look cool. Okay, hold on. I think he's maybe a little bit not too happy with me there. Okay, let me start again. So, it's okay to dress well, okay to look cool. And for all of you children, you must study hard at school. One thing is for sure, there's no need to be sad. Quieten your mind, or it will surely drive you mad. Watch your words, actions and thoughts. Learn to discriminate. Make a start today, it's not too late. Learn to see me in all, whether doctors or dear. Remember I'm with you, leave no room for any fear. When you love all and serve all, our bond will strengthen, I assure. I've not gone away, I'm with you even more. Remember these words, be always happy, my child. Remain centered on me and don't let your thoughts run wild. But even when they do, know that it's fine, it's okay. And my love for you grows stronger with each passing day. Life is a journey, you're all here to learn. I'm always here for you whenever inwards you turn. That breeze on your cheek, that beautiful butterfly, that smile from a stranger, remember your friend's sigh. I don't need to say more, I think you all understand. I'm waiting here patiently for you to just take my hand. I live in your heart, turn to me often, let's talk. And through this journey of life, side by side, we will walk. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Brother Sanjay, for sharing your thoughts with us. That was really heartwarming. It's really nice to hear that we should remember Swami, whatever happens, and always follow his teachings in our daily life. This brings the morning program to a close. I would like to request everyone that they can now make their way to the dining hall, but you need to be seated back here by 1:30. Before we leave, could we all please chant the food prayer together? Enjoyed the wonderful meal put together by our catering team. Could we please put our hands together for them? I would now like you all to welcome the SSE children from Halifax, who will be singing a few songs for Swami as a part of the afternoon program. Thank you very much. Sairam. I would like to thank Prakriti, Smriti and Srinidhi for that wonderful performance. Our first speaker this afternoon is the Reverend David Page. He's currently the vicar of St. Peter's, Elworth and the rural dean of Congleton. Originally from Kent, he pursued his educational training in the field of chemistry at the University of Liverpool and the University of Oxford. He has also worked for several years with Unilever in the dental and skincare divisions. In Bristol, he began his ordination training with the Church of England in 1993. Over the years, he has also shared many responsibilities by being the chair of governors at local primary schools and chairing the Chester Diocese of Criminal Justice. Reverend, we're really honored to have you with us. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you for your invitation to me. Sorry, that was my voice rather than the PA system, which wasn't working very well. But it's great to be able to share with you today. My name's David, and I'm married to Kate, and we've got 3 children. And I also used to sing like that. They now don't sing at all. But I've been here in just 100 yards further up the road here in Elworth for the last 16 years. And I often go into schools, and the children assume that you've always been a vicar, that you were born a vicar, and that you also only work 1 day a week, on Sunday. So I surprise them by turning up at all sorts of occasions, and also saying that I used to make toothpaste. I also used to travel around the world looking at ladies' faces. But back in I've forgotten something as usual. Back in 1987, whilst I was in Oxford, I realised that Jesus loved me and that I loved Jesus. And that was the start of my spiritual journey. But that word love is a very hard word to define. It's been reduced in our modern Western society to romance. We've let that word love be Hollywoodized, haven't we? It's all about, dare I say it with children here, sex and relationships. But we know more than that, and we know better than that, don't we? Back in 1960, C.S. Lewis, the author of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, also wrote a little book called The Four Loves, where he took the 4 Greek words that are used in the Bible, which we translate as love, and explain them. Well, there's of course eros, which is romantic love. Then there is friendship, fraternal, that love between friends, which has no romantic connotations. And then thirdly, there's familiar love, philia, that love of family, that bond that holds us together as a family. But he also showed us that there is a 4th love, and it is the love of God. He used the word charity to define it, but that word has lost a lot of its meaning over the last 50 years. But it is that theme for today, selfless service. And agape is the Greek word which is used to define selfless service. And that is what Christians believe is the love of God. It's the thing that binds God together in the Christian faith as Father, Son and Holy Spirit, 3 united as one, who have always been, are now and always will be. It is that agape, selfless serving love. And the big surprise that came to me back in Oxford in 87, whilst I was finishing off my PhD in some very boring field of chemistry, was that God wants us to share that love. and wants us to share that love with others. We're not to have romance for everyone. We're not all to be part of one blood family. But we are to agape, to share in selfless service love. For that is the love that God has shared with us, and most notably shown not just in creation, but in Jesus' act of agape, his birth, his death, his resurrection, and his ascension, and his promise to return at the end of time. Because you see, if we just have eros, we end up with exploitation. If we just have fraternal, we end up with corruption. And if we just have familial, we end up with separation. But agape binds it all together. Jesus said, I come to be your servant, the one who serves, not to be served. And Paul, commenting on Jesus' life to his letters to the Romans, said, this is God's love. Whilst we were still sinners, Christ died for us, the righteous for the unrighteous. And that's the great challenge for those who declare God's love. To love as he loves us. To love God and to love one another. To agape. To give ourselves in serving love. So what does that look like? How are we to agape to God and our neighbours? Well, if you've ever been to an Anglican wedding, you will have probably heard a Bible reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And Paul didn't write this letter to a married couple getting married, but to a church who was struggling, a church who had divisions. And he said, there is a most excellent way. And this passage shows us, I believe, what selfless service love is. Sorry, this is me and technology. I have, my children are now 23, 21 and 18, and they do all the technology for me. The most excellent way. Faith in Jesus, hope in God's promises, and love which is God-given. So what's this love like? Well, Paul starts off by saying this: if I speak in the tongue of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. But if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. You see, love, agape, is at the epicenter. It's right at the center of everything, and everything that we do. Secondly, he goes on to say this: love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It's not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing. You see, love has to be tender. The opposite to tender is tough. And we know what food can be like when it's tough. But if you listen to the opposite to those words of love, patience, what's the opposite of patience? Impatience, kindness, cruelty, envy, boastfulness. They're all tough, aren't they? But agape love, selfless service, is tender, it's kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not arrogant, and it is not rude. Sometimes we can be powerful, can't we? And we forget to be tender. Thirdly, it's everlasting. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. For love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. It's always. Not occasionally, it's always. And that is at the heart of self-serving love, selfless love. It's the love which is always there. My children often tell me that my dress sense is not good. Sometimes I can dress well, but normally it's not good. And thus they tell me it's not good. We cannot be loving unless we're always loving. Not occasionally, not once a day, once a week, but selfless love is everlasting and always. The passage also tells us that love is real. Love never ends. Yes, lust and romance can come to an end, but agape love never comes to an end. And it is something which is more than knowledge. It's more than prophecy, because it is perfect. It is the tenderness, and it's the thing that unites God. So it has to be real. It's the way God relates to us. So it has to be real. It can't be just a feeling or just an imagination. It has to be real. But love, does anyone know what this animal is? Let's a bit more specific.
Gecko?
No? No? It's a newt. Who said newt? Nobody. It's a newt. Because the other thing about agape love is that it's always showing us new things. Love is always discovering something new. And selfless service doesn't trap us in one place. It means we are always finding something new. And Paul, in that passage, explained this in this way. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in the mirror dimly, but then face to face. Agape love, selfless service, is always stretching and always discovering something new. You know what that is? It's an armadillo, yes. Because love is all importance. He ends the passage by saying this. So now faith, hope and love abide. These three, and the greatest of these is not romance. It's not family ties. It's not friendship. But it is agape. Selfless, serving love. Because this is love. It's the love of the Lord. It comes from the Lord. It is the Lord. And it never fails. If you put all those pictures together, you get a word. And the word is, love is eternal. It is God's love. So today, as we think about our lives, let's express it as eternal love. That it's at the epicenter, that it's tender, that it's everlasting, that it's real, it discovers new things, and it is always important, and that it's a love that never fails. Thank you for listening so quietly. I did say to Bal when he invited me that if you want to ask me questions, you can. And I think the little lady, the young lady with the sign hasn't put the numbers up, so I haven't run out of time yet. Or she's been very kind to me. There's a...
Can you just say a couple of instances where Jesus has shown his love?
Fabulous, yes. In the New Testament, we discover Jesus stepping out of that role that he was expected to have in love. He healed so many people who were thought to be outcasts and outside of society. So he did that not to gain favour with those in power, but out of love. He also observed, we're told, on the mountainside, when he'd been teaching for a long time, that he took the little food that was there and did a great miracle and enabled everyone to be fed. Now that's something my congregation probably would like me to do sometimes after a long sermon. But Jesus' love is most expressed, Christians believe, on the cross. That he chose to die for us. The God of eternity, all-powerful God, chose to die so that we, and in Christian faith we use the word sinners, that we could be reconciled with God, that we could know God once more. And the proof for Christians that his death on the cross wasn't just the end, is the resurrection. And that through his Holy Spirit, he guides us and leads us and encourages us to carry on agapeing, sharing his love with everyone. Thank you. You're letting me off lightly. Oh, there's another question just there.
In your understanding then, what is your understanding of eternal then?
What is your understanding of eternal?
What's my understanding of eternal? My understanding of eternal is something that is always. It has always been, it is now, and always will be. So that's my understanding of eternal, and we are part of that eternal. That's my understanding of the word eternal compared to everlasting. Everlasting is something that has a starting point and only goes into the future. But eternal for me actually goes backwards as well. That's why in the Christian faith we would describe God as eternal rather than everlasting. God has always been and always will be and is now. So maybe a difference in theological interpretation with some other faiths, but that's my understanding of the word eternal. Thank you.
I would like to thank the Reverend for coming all the way and sharing your thoughts with us.
But it wasn't very far, it was just that.
Thank you. Considering the event today, I just have a few thoughts to share with everyone from Swami's discourses about what he talks about love. In his 1996 discourse on May 29th, Swami said, "See in me yourself, for I see myself in all of you. You are my life, my breath, and my soul. All of you are my forms. When I love you, I love myself. When you love yourselves, you love me. I have separated myself from myself so that I may love myself. My beloved ones, you are my own self. Truly speaking, you are all the very embodiments of love. Let the stream of love flow from one heart to another. Consider love as your life. This is your foremost duty. You may search anywhere in the world, but you cannot find anything greater than my love. Here's an example. So many of you have gathered here today. What is the reason? It is Swami's love that has attracted all of you here. My love is the divine magnetic power present in every human being. In all the sacred epics, like the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that love lies as the undercurrent. Once you cultivate love for me, you do not need to acquire any other property. You can attain God only through love. He cannot be attained by any other means. Love is the magnetic power, and it can transform any bitter enemy into your dearest friend. Love exists for love and nothing else. It is spontaneous and imparts delight to everyone. Everything is permeated by love. Love sees within the heart and not from the eyes. It listens not through the ears, but by the tranquility of your heart. It speaks not with the tongue, but out of compassion. Compassion, kindness, and love are separate words, but they mean the same thing. Love has many synonyms, and love can emanate from one heart and not any other source. Love is immortal, nectarine, blissful, and infinite. A heart filled with love is boundless. Just as rivers with different names and forms merge in the ocean and become one with it, love in many forms enters the ocean of the heart and gets identified with it. Sairam. Coming up next, we have a musical performance by the talented duo Mr. Rakesh Joshi and Brother Girish Mistry. Brother Rakesh Joshi is specialized in Bhakti Sangeet, Sugam Sangeet and Ghazals. He was trained by the eminent Guru Shri Pandit Ajoy Chakrabarti. He is a composer and artistic director of Raga Jyoti, the Indian music ensemble. He is also a music teacher at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Manchester, and recently started the national project known as Bharatiya Vrind Gaan, which means the Indian choir. 50 selected members sing divine songs based on Tarana, Songs of India, and the Four Seasons. Brother Girish Mistry, who will accompany Rakesh Joshi, is a self-taught tabla player and started playing at the age of 5. He is an active member of the Sai organization here for more than 30 years. Please put your hands together for Brother Rakesh Joshi and Girish Mistry.
जग में सुंदर है दोना, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या गम 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 ग सा ग म प गम प नि प गम प नि प गम प नि सा 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 नि नि प प प गम प नि प गम सा ग सा नि प नि सा सा ग गम प प नि नि सा 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 नि प प गम प नि प गम ग सा ग सा। जग में सुंदर है दोना, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम राम राम, बोलो राम राम राम, साईं राम राम राम, साईं राम राम राम। जग में सुंदर है दोना, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम राम राम, बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम, सीता राम राम राम। माखन ब्रिज में एक चुरावे, माखन ब्रिज में एक चुरावे, एक बैर दिलनी के खावे। माखन ब्रिज में एक चुरावे, एक बैर दिलनी के खावे। प्रेम भाव से, प्रेम भाव से भरे मुख दोनों શ્રી બાબાના ચરણોમાં પ્રણામ કરીને પરમ કૃપાલુ પરબ્રહ્મ, the supramental divine sign, a musical God, a loving God who loves music, who loves supreme divinity. Our offering to Sai Charanaravind, a beautiful bhajan. In this society, we always go through all different sort of stuff, and especially in the Kali Yuga. While in the Kali Yuga, when we go from one step to another step, from one stage to another stage, our Jivan Chadar goes dirty. But our soul is beautiful. But the soul is surrounded by our body, our work, that goes sometimes dirty in this Kali Yuga. And we are saying, we are requesting sign, we are at your feet, at your lotus Charana Ravind. Please bless us. And we all are singing beautiful these prayers, offering for you. मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे द्वार तिहारे आऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे द्वार तिहारे आऊं, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे मन ही मन शर्माऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे द्वार तिहारे आऊं, हे साईं, तुमने मुझको जग में भेजा निर्मल देकर काया, आकर के संसार में मैंने इनको दाग लगाया, जन्म जन्म की मैली चादर कैसे दाग छुड़ाऊं, मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे। हरे राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम, हरे राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम, हरे राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम, हरे राम। Another very beautiful bhajan from originally sung and also written by Pradeep ji. Pradeep ji was a great music composer, writer he was himself very divine person, of course, and very beautiful bhajan written by him and also composed by him. I'm sure some of you might have heard. The meaning of this bhajan is, we all are doing science work, Param Krupalu Paramatma's work. Maybe our gurus are different, the goal is same, to help others. When we help others, Sai get happy. If you help other, he is the one, Dhai is the one who is looking after us. So saying that दूसरों का दुखड़ा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. You forget everything, help others and be happy by looking and helping as others. Such a beautiful bhajan written by Pradeep ji. दूसरों का दुखड़ा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. किए जा तू जग में भलाई का काम, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. दूसरों का दुखड़ा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. किए जा तू जग में भलाई का काम, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. दूसरों का दुखड़ा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम. क्या तूने पाया, क्या तूने खोया, क्या लेगा तेरा, क्या तेरा लाभ है और क्या तेरी हानि, इसका हिसाब करेंगे वो ईश्वर. तू क्यों फिक्र करे प्राणी, तू बस अपना काम किए जा. तू बस अपना काम किए तकदीर बनती है, तारीफ तेरी निकली है लब से, आई है लब पर बन के कवाली, शिरडी वाले साईं बाबा आए तेरे सवारी, शिरडी वाले साईं बाबा आए तेरे सवारी, करते सवारी सवारी करते सवारी, शिरडी वाले साईं बाबा आए तेरे सवारी। Gurubhyo Namah. Thank you for listening, bhajans, and thank you to Shri Girish Bhai. Please give a big hand. Santur is, I have not learned from any Guruji, but I have just whatever I feel to play for God. It's just inspiration. It's very difficult to tune 100 strings here, but I just enjoy playing, so I played for Baba and for all of you. Thank you. Pranam.
Sairam, we would like to thank Mr. Rakesh Joshi and Brother Girish Mistry for that fabulous performance. I would now like to request the Region 5 Chairperson, Dr. Vijayanand Nadella, to take the stage and introduce our final guest speaker for the day, Mr. Ishwar Patel. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you, Rakesh Bhai and Girish Bhai. That was lovely. It was, we had to stop here because we're running out of time, as it always happens. I was listening to Reverend David Page's talk earlier. I think one adjective I would like to add is abundant. Because, typically, when we start planning for a program, we'll start, 1 hour is bhajans, then what else? And come closer to the program, then we'll be thinking how to save 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So Swami, when he gives, it's like a downpour. It's not a little drizzle. It is abundant. So that's his love. And it's indeed my privilege today, on this great occasion, to invite Mr. Ishwar Patel to give his talk. Ishwar Bhai Patel has been in Swami's organization for 3.5 decades. And it is very inspiring when I was looking at his introduction, and he started as a youth coordinator in 1980 at a center level, and then he got to the position of a regional chair, and then he was a former UKCC chair. It is so inspiring to the youth, like such a transition and unflinching faith. So for the last 3.5 decades, he has served Swami in various capacities. At center, regional and national level. And during this process, he served in various aspects like youth activities, setting up leadership training programs. He's organized various medical camps, and I think looking at his introduction, basically he worked so much in the field of education. He's also the former trustee of the Satsai Charitable Trust. It gives me great pleasure to invite Shri Ishwar Patel. Thank you.
I offer my most loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Respected elders, brothers and sisters and children, Om Shri Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
You must be feeling tired now.
No, never.
You must be.
No.
Just stand up for 30 seconds. Stretch your arms. Take a good stretch, take a good breath in. Okay, you may sit down now. I must thank Region 5 for inviting me here today to spend some time with you, to share some thoughts. And it's a privilege to be here. I have long associations with Region 5 and crew retreats in particular. And as the speakers were speaking today, and Sanjay narrated his poem, I sat there and I said, Swami, they've talked about everything. What more can I say? What new dimension can I give to love and service? Whilst David was speaking, I hope you don't mind me calling you David. He mentioned the aspect of, or the different facets of love, and the idea of eternal love. That which was, that which is, that which will be. Never changes. Om Tat Sat. And I was remembering my days in university, and there was this one particular psychologist I was impressed by. I did a lot of reading around him. And his name is Carl Rogers. Often they refer to him as Roger. And in his field of study, which was psychology, he concluded that in order to help another human being, you only require a simple equation. And he coined this equation: in order to help, all you require is something called unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard. Now he comes from a school of psychology, not a place of religion, not a place of spirituality, but through the years of his studies of human nature, he concluded that in order to help, you must first stop the idea of judgment. The moment you judge, you've imposed. And as David was sharing, I was reflecting on that, the idea of unconditional positive love. And I've recently come back from India. And it was one of those trips, I was saying to Swami, it was one of those trips when I finally got on the flight at Bombay back to UK. I actually sat down on the plane and I said, thank God I can relax for 9 hours now. Because wherever I went, people wanted to talk. And what I noticed was that people are so busy, caught up in conditional relationships, that they have created their own traps. And my job was to just say, if you did that to that person, and that person did that to you, how would you feel? And if you feel bad, then don't do it to that person. So sometimes, when we spend our time in spirituality, we reflect on lofty ideals. We intellectualize the idea of love, the idea of sacrifice. But when Swami talked, and the reason Swami came, Bhagavan came, was to teach us that we had to move beyond rhetoric. It had to manifest in our nature. So, in order to celebrate this Mahasamadhi day, which was on Friday, perhaps we need to reflect in the quiet corners of our own homes. Is my love unconditional? And be frank and open and recognize that there will be elements of our love which are rooted in conditions. As parents, our love for children are rooted in that relationship. As partners, there are conditions that are applied. But when we're out there in the world serving the needy, the poor, people who just need a listening ear, what they need is unconditional positive regard. And that is what Swami taught throughout his life. Whether you were fortunate enough to spend some time directly with him or indirectly through his teachings, that is what he taught. And whilst David was speaking, and I was appreciating late afternoon was coming, I was feeling for each one of you, and how tired you must be feeling. And I remember the story, which Swami narrated some years back. It was many, many years ago. Swami narrated this story. And it's not directed at David. I'll clarify that he will understand later on. Swami narrates a story of a priest in a remote part of UK who throughout his life he preached. Every Sunday he preached until his time came to leave planet Earth. And when he passed away, he found himself in heaven at the pearly gates. And St. Peter was waiting with a huge book. And what this priest noticed was there was a huge queue of people wanting to get into heaven. Like you and I, all wanting to get into heaven. And he watched and he observed. And St. Peter would look down the list, find the relevant person, and then direct this person to a corner in the valley in heaven. And this went on for a while. So the priest was thinking, gosh, all my life I have dedicated to God. When my turn comes, I will be offered a special place. The Lord will offer me a special place. So there was an Indian in front of him. And his turn came. And St. Peter opened the file, looked down the list and found him. You deserve a special place in heaven. That valley over there with 4 acres, the river, all those beautiful flowers, that cottage, that is yours for eternity. So the priest is now feeling really privileged that he is going to get something bigger. And his turn comes. And St. Peter looks, finds him. For you, that little hut in that corner, that remote hut, that is your life for eternity, heavenly life. And the priest is wondering, this Indian got a palatial cottage, river, flowers, and I, who taught for a lifetime, ended up with a hut. So he stops and looks back at St. Peter, as if to say, you've made a mistake, check again. So he comes back and asks St. Peter, please check again, maybe you've got my name wrong. So St. Peter looks down and he says, is this your name? He says, yes, that is my name. No, I have got it correct, that is your place. So again he reluctantly moves, but he can't move. So he comes back again and he questions St. Peter. So why is it that the Indian before me, who appeared like a beggar, has ended up in this palatial place, and you've given me this hut? So he looks at both their histories. During your lifetime, your sermons were so boring that people used to fall asleep. Instead of taking people to God, you drove people away from God, not reflecting on you that way. So he then asked, what is so wonderful about this Indian? He was notorious. He was a bus driver in Bombay. And when people queued up at the bus stop, and the bus stopped and the door opened and they saw him, they immediately started praying. Because they knew that potentially that will be the last ride they'll have with this ruffian. So because of him, more people remembered God, and hence he deserves this place. Now, the message Swami is trying to give here is that when we spend our time in satsang, when we spend our time in contemplation, whether it's being still, whether it's reading text and literature, that we have to focus our full attention in that moment, that time. So whilst you've been here for the whole day, your mind should have been here. But if you were to ask yourself, how many of your thoughts today were about, oh, did I switch the gas off? Oh, I should have done that. Oh, when I get back, I will go and do that. Tomorrow I've got to do this. Tomorrow I've got to make 15 chapatis instead of 12 chapatis. So even in the moment, it is lost because we are thinking about the future. And the future is unknown. You know, there's a beautiful story in the Ramayana of Dharmaraja, in the Mahabharata, of Dharmaraja, that when he comes back and he takes the kingdom, one of the citizens comes in front of him with a query. And he says to him, let me reflect on that, come back tomorrow and I will give you the answer. To which one of the other brothers started laughing in court. So Dharmaraja questions him, how can you behave in such a way in front of the citizens in the court? And he declares, oh my brother, you are the epitome of dharma, that which is right, righteous. But today I have realized your ignorance. That you have the audacity to think that you will be here tomorrow. So live in the present. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Live in the moment. There's a beautiful equation that 95% of life is spent thinking about how to live it, and 5% is actually lived. So we have to ask ourselves, am I spending 95% of my life thinking about how I should live it? Now I only lived 5% of my life. Enjoy the moment. This is what Bhagavan came to teach. And when you were with him, when you were in front of him, nothing else existed. That moment existed. And that was that unconditional love in that moment that he had. And because of that behavior that you saw, you immediately reflected it in front of him. That nothing else exists, only that moment exists. And that is what Bhagavan came to teach. How many of you are very impressed by the YouTube song, Where Have You Gone? Where Can I Find You? We Miss You. Did you all enjoy that? Yes. Now that is delusion. Where has he gone?
He's here.
Do we miss him? The moment you say you miss him, he is no longer here. So even these things that we love and we enjoy, words to songs, you have to reflect on them. It is so important to reflect on them. The other elements the speaker spoke about, the theme is very clear, sacrifice and love. David used lovely animal pictures to connect teachings from the Bible. And within our own Hindu scriptures, there are amazing stories of people, individuals, whether they are animal kingdom or human kingdom, who have shown us the path of sacrifice. In the Ramayana, the epic Ramayana, we are reminded of Sabri. Not many of us realize that when we refer to Sabri, we always think about the old woman in her 70s. But she was once a child. And she came to Matanga Rishi, the ashram in the forest, in the jungle, at the age of around 9. She came very early in her career. But she had two characteristics which would not allow her to participate in hermitage life. One, she was a woman. Two, she was considered an untouchable. So the other so-called spiritual people, like you and I, disciples of Matanga Rishi, refused her access to the hermitage. So from a young age, she served Matanga Rishi. She truly believed that he was her guru, her teacher. So she noticed the treks that he would go in the jungle. So every morning, early morning, she would clear the pathways of thorns and so on, rubble, etc. And today, who do we remember? Do we remember the disciples?
No.
She was considered the epitome of sacrifice. At a young age, she recognized, to the extent that before leaving Matanga Rishi declared that the Lord himself will trek into this jungle and you will have the opportunity to feed him. We are reminded in the Ramayana of the great eagle, Jatayu. Jatayu was not an ordinary eagle. He was considered to be an eagle amongst eagles. And what did he notice? As he was flying across the skies, he noticed Mother Sita in difficulty, in pain, in desperation, in despair. Mother Sita was being kidnapped by Ravana. And he came to her rescue. An eagle comes to the rescue of a human being, Mother Sita. And a great fight takes place between Jatayu and Ravana. Swami often used to say, Ravana was great, but Rama was good. Ravana had mastered all the scriptures. He was considered to be a giant, but that was his fall. So a great battle took place between this bird Jatayu and Ravana. And the wings are slain. They're cut off and Jatayu falls to the floor. Now what does Jatayu do? This is where the lessons are. What does Jatayu do? He realizes that his life is ebbing away. But he makes a determined effort to hold fast until Rama comes to the place, so that he could tell Rama what happened. So finally Lord Rama comes and Jatayu narrates the story. Jatayu narrates the story. And because of his great sacrifice, Rama declares, ask for anything today and I will grant it to you. I will give you immortality. Ask it. What did Jatayu ask for? What did Jatayu ask for? He asked that he can remain a servant at his feet. That is unconditional love and sacrifice. So there are many stories, whether it's Hindu scriptures, Christian scriptures, Islamic scriptures, Buddhist scriptures. They're there for a purpose. They're there to give us an insight. But once you've acquired that insight, you then have to think about how does this apply in my day-to-day life. And that is what Swami came to teach us. Swami was a master in what he taught. And in my personal encounters with Swami, there are many I can share with you, and I've been shown the sign. But I'll leave you with one little short story. As I said, I was recently in Trivandrum, and they asked me to share my experiences. And having shared the experiences, they were interested in only one area of my life. The 14 years Swami didn't speak to me. Not only did he not speak to me, but I could not get close to him. When I got first rows, he would do a long turn. Or sometimes darshan got cancelled. And they were intrigued. what did I do during those 14 years to survive? I can talk and talk and talk and talk. And I summed it up by saying to them that I said to him, you do what you must do, let me do what I must do. And my job is to stay here in front of you. I will not think about why it's happening, when it's happening, what will be the results. I will simply just sit and wait. And that reminded me of Shirdi Baba. And again, this has been touched today. Shraddha and Saburi. That in order to live in the immediate presence of the Lord, you require faith. Faith is the most important thing. You must have faith. So the YouTube clip that you saw of that song is not faith, that's delusion. And the other one Shirdi Baba refers to is patience. If you have patience, you will be awarded with whatever what needs to be awarded. So today, we're calling it a celebration of Mahasamadhi, and it should be. Mahasamadhi is not an ordinary passing. This is a passing of a unique being who has left this physical plane. That's all. He is still here. That same Lord that you and I sang about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is still here. So do not think different. The other message I want to leave with you is, in the confusion, human nature is to seek everywhere else. Oh, answer lies there. Have you heard the latest? 5 photographs have Vibhuti coming. No, another house, 10 photographs have Vibhuti coming. All delusion. If you truly believe that God is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, then you don't need this physical affirmations, confirmations. So be rooted in that belief that God is here, was here, is here, will be here. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram. Thank you, Ishmael, for that fantastic talk, very inspirational talk. Unfortunately now that it's time for the programme to come to an end, and I just have a few closing thoughts on the programme today. So if we could sum Swami's life up and teachings in one word, it would be love. His message, his ideals, his humanitarian work, every act was all enshrined in love. And today's programme truly reflected that. From the small children that were doing the prayers in the beginning to the musical items, every act was suffused with love, and we could all feel that today in the hall. One of Swami's quotations is, "Only through love can God's heart be moved and softened. Every devotee has that power. Instead of resorting to extravagant adulation of God or seeking petty favours from God, yearn for God alone and you will get everything. Endeavour to make God your intimate friend." These spiritual events that we hold in the region and throughout the UK enable us to develop that connection, that friendship, that love for God. And there's many activities throughout the year, throughout the rest of the year, which will help us to also maintain that connection with Swami. We have our pre-World Conference from the 24th to the 26th of July, and our regional retreat, which again all of us must enjoy, from the 7th of 9th to the 9th of August. And we also have the World Conference in November of this year. With this being Swami's 90th birthday celebrations, we should all be participating fully in these events. So thank you all. Thank you first to Swami for enabling us, for providing these opportunities to develop these connections with him. And thank you to everyone for attending. You've all been very patient today. And we'll finally close with end bhajans at the end. We've had some news that there's been a big earthquake in Nepal. So after the Vibhuti Mantram, we'll be having 1 minute silence. So.
Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow. All your ways are good. All your ways are sure. I will trust in you alone. Higher than my sight, high above my life. I will trust in you alone. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. This life I lose, I will follow you. I will follow you. Light into the world, light into my life. I will live for you alone. You're the one I seek, Lord, and I will find all I need in you alone. In you alone. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. This life I lose, I will follow you. I will follow you. In you is life everlasting. In you is freedom for my soul. In you is joy unending joy. And I'll follow. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I'll follow. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. If this life I lose, I will follow. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. When you move, I'll move. I will follow you. Who you love, I'll love. How you serve, I'll serve. This life I lose, I will follow you.
जय मां दया करो साई मां
Jai Jaya Ma. भज मन साई राम। हर हर शिव शिव सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। हर हर शिव शिव सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। शिव 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 सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। शिव 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 सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। हर 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 नमामि शंकर भज मन साई राम। हर हर शिव शिव सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। शिव 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 सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। शिव 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 सदा शिवा भज मन साई राम। हर 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 नमामि शंकर भज मन साई राम। साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे। साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे। साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे। तुम हो साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे तुम हो बाबा दया के सागरे गुण मंदिर सत्य सनातन अलग निरंजन साई जनार्दन अलग निरंजन साई जनार्दन सच्चिदानंद प्रभो कृपा देव दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे साई प्रेम दे शांति दे आनंद दे बाबा प्रेम दे जय पांडुरंग जय पांडुरंग Oh Oh
Sairam, everybody. I don't want to end this program to end, but unfortunately we'll have to vacate and give the venue to the school back. So we'll have to finish the program, and that comes to the conclusion. I just want to, once again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and it's a fantastic, gathering. We have got up to 180 people have, confirmed today, and I'm sure it is around that. So it's every center has put in a tremendous effort to make this regional event happen. So it's a fantastic, teamwork. So thanks to the entire team, all the center chairs, and who has worked today. Like the altar, catering. The catering was done in an hour's time. Can you imagine serving 200 people in an hour's time, and the program again started back on time. So it's a big thanks to everybody. Can we give a round of applause? I mean, I can keep on going, the list of people, but I just want to say that it's a teamwork, and we have all worked like a team, and thank you very much. So have a safe journey home, and lastly, we'll just do a minute of silence. Think and let our thoughts be with those people who lost their lives in the massive earthquake today. Thank you, Sairam. Sairam, everyone.
if those who can stay behind to help clear the hall would be much appreciated. Jai Sandbach.